StraightallDay.com. You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What is that? That's the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, we are on part 3 of 3, as you already know, if you are a regular listener to the show, that we're on part 3 of 3 of business building myths. I've already given you part 1 and part 2. If you have not listened to those, they are the previous 2 episodes in your podcast feed. So wherever you're listening to this, just go back to the previous 2 episodes and you will be able to listen to those. You should check those because that's where I gave the background introduction on this subject, and the things I'm going to share here today will connect to what I've talked about in the previous 2 episodes. So before I even get into those, the last 3 business building myths that you need to know about, let me tell everybody that I send out this thing called the Daily Motivation. It is a text message that I send out for free to everyone who's in my text community. So as long as you have a phone and you can receive text messages, all you got to do is text me right now and let me know you want to receive this message. And tomorrow when I send out the next one, you'll get it. Here's the number: 305-384-6894. Just text me right now at that number, and when I send the next one out, you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. So that number is down below in the show notes as well if you didn't write that down while I was talking. Secondly, Work on Your Game University is the next place to take your next step in my world. Y'all thought that it was just listen to this show and that's it? No. There's a lot more that you can do. The next step is joining the university. Yes, this is a real life education. I'm a professor out here. I just don't work for a school. I do work for a school. The school is called Work on Your Game University. So now all you got to do is go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You'll see 3 buttons on that page. You'll see a video of me introducing your options, and there's 3 buttons on the page. One button is to get into my coaching program. That's where you are being coached directly by me. If you would like me to be your coach, there's a button there for you to schedule a time to get on a call with me, and we could talk about what it would look like to have me as your coach. The second button is to get access to all of our courses. There are 20 plus courses inside of the university. Courses like Bulletproof Mindset, courses like 30 Days to Discipline, like 25 Hours, which is our time control course. Courses like ASAP Confidence or Next Mission, which is about transitioning from one career to the next. And 20 other courses. As I told you, there's 20 plus courses in there. You click that button and get access to all the courses immediately. Like within 30 seconds, you get access to all the courses. The third button is if you would like to get our Bulletproof Bulletin and Black Book. Those are the 2 physical mailings that I send out every single month to every member of the university. And understand that those things work cascading. If you join the coaching program, you get the courses and the physical mailings automatically. You get the courses, you get the physical mailings automatically, and you can just subscribe just to get the mailings if you want. So if you join the coaching program, you're being coached by me. Everything else I just mentioned all comes with it in a package. You get it? So just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You'll see 3 buttons on the page. It is very clear, very easy to navigate, and decide what your next step is going to be in going into the Work on Your Game universe in the university. Everybody follow what I said there? All right, so now let's get into the topic, which is part 3 of 3 of business building myths. These are things that are not true about building a business, but people tell you these as if they are true, and maybe you have believed them up to this point. And that's fine, because today the good news is we're going to bust these myths. We're going to do some myth busting here, part 3 of 3. Again, make sure you listen to the previous 2 episodes. Point number 7 is where we're picking up here, because I already did points 1 through 6. Here's myth number 7. If people do not buy from you when they see your offer, the first time that they see whatever you're selling, and they don't buy it, they will never buy, so screw them. All right, this is a myth. This is a very, very bad idea that will cost you a lot of money. As a matter of fact, many of you business owners right now, you're costing yourself a lot of money right now because you have been operating under this premise, maybe not consciously, but this is costing you a ton of money, okay? This is one that, again, a lot of you don't consciously think about this, and you probably don't consciously say it, but your actions are reflecting this mindset because you don't understand what you don't understand. And if you haven't constantly thought about it, I can't hold you accountable for it. Actually, yes, I can, because you're a business owner, so you're accountable for everything when you own a business. When you make an offer to another person, this is one of your prospects, somebody who's on your email list, somebody who follows you on social media, somebody who you had a conversation with them and you offered them, you told them, here's my program, here's what it looks like, here's what you get, and they're interested, and then you tell them the price and they're like, well, I don't have the money, I can't buy it, or they give you some reason why they cannot make an investment, financial investment into what you're offering them right now. This happens, okay? Why? Because people have other stuff going on in life. Sometimes they really don't have the money. Sometimes they need time to think about it. Sometimes they got to clear it with somebody else. Sometimes they got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other things before they can do your thing, but they want to do it. They just can't do it right now. This happens. And I know sometimes it can be frustrating for you. It can be annoying for you. It can be disappointing for you as a salesperson, but it happens, okay? Here's the thing that you need to understand. Not that it happens, because you probably have already had it happen. Here's the thing you got to keep in mind. If you are not doing anything to continually engage with these people who have passed on your offer for whatever reason initially, you are costing yourself a ton of money. As a matter of fact, I will say you could probably make twice as much money as you're making right now if you would consistently stop. If you would stop doing this, all right, stop not letting those people be followed up with. You got to follow up with people. All right, that's the bottom line. That's what this is about, following up. Because not everybody is going to be ready to move and pull the trigger on taking action on everything that you offer them the first time that they see it, for the reasons that I stated above, and other reasons, like maybe they're just distracted, maybe they kind of glanced at your email but they didn't really read it, maybe they had other things going on and they didn't really take time to ingest what you were sharing with them. Maybe they clicked on the button by accident and didn't really look at the email, but it got marked as read, so they never even noticed it, and you didn't send another email about the product or service. Maybe they had other things they wanted to invest in, they spent their money on something else, and now they got to wait 3 months before they had the money to buy your thing again. And if you don't remind them about your thing, then guess what's going to happen? They're going to spend that money again on something else, and you got to wait another 3 months before you get another opportunity. And if you don't follow up, then it's going to happen again and again and again. You see how this goes? You have to continually engage with your people, whether they be prospects, fans, audience members, whatever. You have to continually engage with people so that when they are ready to take action, you are available and top of mind to them. So when they're ready, you actually have something to offer them. You get it? And they're ready to do something with what you're offering them. Think about the fact that most of the time when you buy things, it's not the first time that you thought about buying that thing. Is this true or not? How many of you look around in the room that you're in right now? And don't even look in the room that you're in. If you're in your car, look at all the stuff that you have in your car right now. All the stuff that you personally paid for that's in your car right now if you're in the car. Or if you're in the gym right now, just think about everything that you're wearing right now, your headphones, your phone, your workout gear, your sneakers, your car if you traveled to get to the gym, you drove to get to the gym, your house, everything that's inside your house, every item that you touched today that you have paid for with your credit card or your bank account or cash, whatever. How many of those things did you buy the very first time you thought about it, first time you saw it, the first time it was shown to you? The very first time you saw it, you immediately pulled out your credit card and paid for it. How many things? I would bet that for most of you, 80% of the stuff that you have, you did not buy it the first time you saw it or thought about it. You saw it, you said, all right, I want to buy that. But you didn't buy it right there in a moment. You might have bought it a week later. You might have put it in your cart and said, I'll just save all this stuff in my cart, and then after I get like 8 things I know I want to buy, I'll just buy all 8 at the same time. Maybe you said I'm going to buy it, but I'm not going to buy it today. I'll buy it next week because I'm busy right now and I got to do something for my kids, or my husband's calling me, or my wife needs something from me, so I'm not going to buy it this moment because I got other stuff I got to do, but I'm going to buy it. And then eventually you did buy it, but you didn't buy it immediately the first time that you saw it. Is this true or not? Maybe you said you wanted to buy something, but you know what? I'm going to save up the money before I do that. Before I do that, let me close this deal and that deal, and let me get this check, and then I'll buy it. And then you did, but you didn't buy it right there on the spot. Is this true or not? Does this happen all the time? You got other stuff on your mind. You are not anticipating to or planning to buy anything that day when you saw the thing that you did eventually buy. You maybe just want to think about it. Maybe you need to save up the money. Maybe you need to plan around the purchase because, again, you weren't thinking about buying this thing, and it would change your plans if you were to buy it right now, and you didn't think that a smart thing to do, so you want to wait until you had it planned out. It needed to fit into your plan or what you were doing with your money. There are many reasons why people don't buy stuff the first time they see it, even though they actually want it, and even though they will eventually purchase it. So you, salesperson, it is your responsibility to continually follow up with people. Just because somebody does not buy something the first time that they see it does not mean that they're not going to buy it. Again, I just gave you a list of like 20 reasons why people don't buy stuff the first time they see it. They got other stuff going on. It's not because they don't want it. It's just got other stuff that they're doing. You are not the only, there are very few people on this planet who wake up thinking about you. All right, how many people wake up in the morning thinking about you? I would bet if you're under the age of 18, we can say your parents. If you're over the age of 18, we can say your significant other, and that's pretty much it. If you have a significant other. If you're over 18 and single, how many people wake up in the morning thinking about you? Probably nobody. Maybe your kids, maybe, but that's pretty much it. Nobody else wakes up in the morning thinking about you. Now, I'm not telling you that to make you feel bad. I'm telling you that to impress upon you that if you want people to be thinking about your stuff and what you're offering them, you have to tell them. Do not expect them to be thinking about you, because they ain't. They got other stuff on their mind. Who you wake up thinking about? You wake up thinking about your kids, your significant other, if you have kids, or a significant other. If you don't have either, you wake up thinking about yourself. You don't wake up thinking about other people. So they ain't thinking about you, even though your products are amazing. You got to remind them that you have them and remind them why it matters to them. This is your responsibility. As the saying goes, salespeople, the fortune is in the follow-up. More sales are made on subsequent attempts, follow-up, than they are made on the first attempt. All right, most of your customers do not buy the first time they see something you're offering. This is just how it is. This is especially true when you have higher priced things, whatever you're selling, because that requires more of an investment from people. People usually need to think about those a little bit more. People may need to plan for those a little bit more. And the more money you're asking somebody to spend, the more they have to think about how that factors into the bigger picture of everything else they're doing with their money. Now, if you're selling $1 bottles of water or candy bars for $2, then yeah, you can make a lot of sales on the first impression. But as your prices go up, people usually need, again, more time and more exposures to come to a decision, or better yet, to come to action. People usually make decisions relatively quickly, but they don't take action at the same time in which they make a decision. Again, look at yourself for an example. How many times have you thought of something and said, okay, I'm going to do this, but then you didn't do it until like 6 months later? Of course, I'm sure you can think of a time that you did that. Point number 8. Today we are talking about business building myths. Last set, 3. This is episode part 3 of 3. Number 8. If you need logos or graphics, all you have to do is get on Canva or WordPress and do it yourself. Don't do this. I touched on this a little bit in the brand building series, myths series, and I've touched on this multiple times in other episodes of this show. And I'm bringing this one up here because this is important. This is especially important in our era of so many things being visual, with people being able to take in your business and your brand in the form of your website, your content, your graphics, etc. Here's why this matters. People judge you based on your appearance. We all know this to be true. Even though, again, God judges you based on your morality and what's on the inside and who you really are as a person, the content of your character, as Martin Luther King famously stated. Human beings ain't doing that. We judge people on what we see on the surface. We judge books by their covers. Just like you do, other people do it to you. So if your appearance to the world, meaning your website, your logo, your content, your graphics, etc., if it looks amateur and low quality, even if your material is good, people may never find out that your material is good because you showed them a poor presentation. That's why it's important for you to invest in how you are showing up, especially in the areas that matter the most for you. So it is worth it, business owner, for you to invest in higher quality materials when it comes to the way that you present yourself to the world. I'll give you an example. Just a few days ago, I was on Airbnb. Everyone knows what that is, right? It's a website where you can basically rent out somebody's living space, like a house, apartment, a room, whatever, when you're traveling. As opposed to getting a hotel, you get an Airbnb. When I travel to a lot of places, most places that I travel to, I usually go Airbnb instead of a hotel. Only place where I almost always get a hotel instead of an Airbnb is Vegas. In Vegas, I usually almost all the time stay on the strip, and ain't no Airbnbs on the strip. Actually, there are, technically, that's incorrect. There are some, but I usually get a hotel when I stay in Vegas. It usually is some form of business. But everywhere else that I go, anywhere else I go, even when I go to Philadelphia, where I'm from, I get an Airbnb. So anyway, I'm on Airbnb, and I'm looking at listings of places at this place that I'm going to be traveling to. By the time you hear this, I may already even be at that place. And when I'm looking at these listings, I've ruled out any listing, not based on price, but based on the pictures. That's what I do. I load up, I grab like 4 or 5 or 6 of them that are all fit within the time frame that I need. They're in the location that I need and in the price range that I want to spend. And then I open 5 or 6 tabs with each one, and then I just go to the pictures, and I just start scrolling through the pictures. And if the pictures look like they were taken by like some amateur, i.e. the person who maybe owns the place, but that person is not a photographer, delete it immediately. Immediately delete it. I don't care what the price is. Why? Because if they wouldn't take the time to go hire a professional photographer for their Airbnb listing, for me to stay in their home, and their whatever this place is living space, maybe it's not where they actually live, but maybe it's a rental, a place they just use for Airbnb. If they won't take the time to get photos, it tells me that they probably will slip up on other details as well. I mean, tell me they'll probably go cheap on other details. And I don't like staying in houses that are, I don't like staying in any house that I feel like someone didn't pay attention to detail when it comes to the cleanliness of that house. I gotta sleep in that bed, I gotta use that bathroom, I gotta use your kitchen. All right, if you won't take time to get good photos taken, I'm not staying at your house. That ain't happening. No way. So any of you who's in the Airbnb business, whether you are a person who manages listings for other people, or you actually have your own Airbnb listings, your own places that you rent out, all right, get quality photos. All right, this is costing you money from people like myself who are buyers. So many people, and just looking at photography these days, there's so many people needing photography. Photographers are relatively cheap and very easy to find. Like, I can find a photographer right now. I can have a photo shoot in an hour from now for relatively cheap, for less than $200. I can get a photographer, and I can have a photographer in this space where I'm at right now taking pictures of me an hour from now for less than $200. Photographers are very easy to find. So if you won't do this, that means you're just not being professional when it comes to the way you're running your business, and I'm judging you on this. So you want to have high quality presentation of whoever you are or whatever you are. Whatever you're presenting, it should be high quality, at least when it comes to your ideal people seeing you, or however it is that they are seeing you. So whatever you're presenting to the world, whatever that happens to be, make sure you invest in the quality of the way that you're presenting yourself, because if you look cheap, people are going to think you're cheap. And that means you're going to attract cheap people. And you can't sell high quality, you can't sell high ticket things to cheap people because they ain't got the money. Just how it works. Point number 9. Today's topic, once again, we are on part 3 of 3, business building myths. If your products are great, people will come back on their own. This is a myth. Notice the wording there. If your products are great, they'll come back. I'm talking about people who already bought your stuff. So you sell something to somebody, it's great, it does exactly as you said it was going to do, they get great results from it. You think that just because the product was so great that they're going to come back on their own, you don't have to do anything. False. You have to do something. In an ideal world, this is how things will work, is that you sell somebody something is amazing and they'll just come back to you banging down your door, waving their wallet in your face and begging you to take their money. In a perfect world, that's how it works. I'm going to let you know that the world ain't perfect. People have other things on their minds, as we talked about. They got other things going on in their lives besides thinking about you, as we talked about. Even if you have already given them an amazing experience, they still got other things on their mind besides you, believe it or not. So think about your own life again and what your mind is normally preoccupied with. You're usually not thinking about, think about this. Is your mind usually preoccupied with thinking about somebody that you bought something from 6 months ago and you want to buy it again? Probably not. You're probably not thinking about that, right? That's not even something you're even considering. Even if you do want to buy it again, you aren't often thinking about it because you got all this other stuff going on a day-to-day basis. So as a salesperson, you have to continually stay in front of your audience and remind them of who you are. I'm talking about the people who have already given you money. I'm not talking about the prospects. I'm talking about the people who already gave you money. You got to continually stay in front of them, remind them of who you are, remind them of what you're offering, remind them of how you helped them in the past, and remind them about how you can keep helping them into the future. Why? Because you are not top of mind to other people. Again, if you are an adult, the only people who wake up in the morning thinking about you are maybe your significant other, and often not even them. Often it's the other people who, actually often it's nobody. Maybe your kids, if they need something from you, they're not thinking about you because they're thinking about you. They're thinking about you because it's something that you can provide for them. But other than that, if you don't have kids and you don't have a significant other, ain't nobody thinking about you when they wake up in the morning. Nobody. Not even your best customers. They're thinking about themselves. So it's your job to get in front of them. Many people end up not coming back to your business, not because they didn't like your stuff. They like your stuff. It was great. You gave them exactly what you told them you were going to give them, even more. People don't come back to your business because they forgot that you existed. They just forgot about you because they got other things going on in their lives. And it's not their fault that they forgot about you. It's your fault that they forgot about you because you didn't do your job of reminding them that you exist. That's why they stopped coming back to you. If you take one thing from this whole 3-part series, this is the most important one. You can use this when it comes to your prospects. Those are the people who have not given you money yet, but they might. And when it comes to your already clients and customers, these are people who have already given you money and you want them to give you more money in the future. It is your job. Here's the thing to take away. It is your job to remind them that you and your products and services exist. It is not their job to remember that they exist. If you are not continually reminding people that you exist, it is your fault when they forget that you exist. Not their fault. It is your fault. And I don't care what you're selling. Even if you're selling something that people need. If you're a dentist and you fix people's toothaches. If you stop reminding them about that toothache, they will forget about the toothache. They'll forget about going to you for the toothache. Let's put it that way. You got to remind people of what you have. If you stop reminding them, they will forget and they will end up spending money, but they're just not going to spend it with you. And that's a problem. And that's a damn shame because you could probably help them better than the plan B alternative that they ended up choosing, simply because you did not do your job as an entrepreneur and as a salesperson of reminding people that you exist. This is your responsibility. All that said, let's recap today's classes. Part 3 of 3, business building myths. Number 1, if they don't buy from you when they see your offer, they'll never buy, so screw them. There's a false idea. All right, the fortune is in the follow-up, folks. People don't buy from you for a myriad of reasons. It's not because they don't want your stuff, simply because they got other things on their mind, other things going on, and whatever other reasons that they could come up with. You get in sales long enough, you'll hear every reason in the book. Doesn't matter what the reason is, just know that you need to follow up with those people so that when they are ready to buy, they know that they're going to buy from you. Number 8, if you need logos or graphics done, go to Canva or WordPress and do it yourself. Wrong answer. Do not do this. Go to Fiverr or go to any website where you can hire people. You can hire other people to do graphic work for you who are much better than you at it for a relatively cheap price. Remember the question about how much your time is worth. If you know how much your time is worth, then you know how much you should be willing to spend to have somebody else do work that would take you a certain amount of time, because it's cheaper to pay them than it is for you to use your own time, which is worth a lot more than theirs, to get something done. If an hour of your time is worth $100 and you can hire somebody on and it would take you an hour to make a logo, but somebody on Fiverr can make a logo for you in an hour and it only costs $5, well, you're making yourself $95. You get what I'm saying here? You're making $95 by hiring them instead of you doing it yourself, because their time is worth $5, yours worth $100. So you spent $5 to make $100. All right, you need to know those calculations, and you should be able to do that calculation in your head anytime you need to be doing something. However you're presenting yourself to the world, make sure you are investing in high quality presentation. If you are in the thought leadership space, you are making a star out of yourself as a person, you need to hire a photographer and get quality photos taken. And you should always have updated quality photos, high quality photos that were taken by a photographer, not by you, by a photographer. Why? Because they look professional and people can tell. And people are judging you off of this stuff, folks. It's not just for your vanity. It is for your vanity, but the most important part is because people are judging you based off this. Number 9, if your products are great, people will come back on their own. No, they will not. In the ideal world, this is how it works. The world is not ideal. People don't come back to you simply because they forget that you exist, because you have failed to do your job. You have failed your responsibility as an entrepreneur and a business owner to remind people that you exist, that you have products and services that can help them, and that your products and services can help them in a specific way. This is your job to keep reminding people, keep hitting them over the head, even if they're not responding, even if they're not saying nothing, even if people are not you're not making any sales. When you keep telling people about how great your stuff is, keep following up. This is the mental toughness. This is a strategy. This is a system. You must continually follow up with people. And you should have a system for continually following up with people so that you never stop contacting people and telling them what it is you're offering and how you offer it and how it can help them, because eventually people will be ready to move. But if you're not there when they're ready, you lose. All that said, text me, tell me the best insight you got from this class and this whole 3-part series. My number is 305-384-6894. And secondly, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's where you can take the next step here with the coaching programs, getting access to all the courses and 2 physical mailings we send out every month. Choose your option. The link is workonyourgameuniversity.com. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.